My parents,
It's
Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan, had nothing to do with that.
yeah,
How
yeah.
dare
Come
you?
on, that would be ridiculous. So I'm glad that he was
Yeah.
just very honest about it and was like, yeah, I did. But the way to kind of make up for that is to respect it, is to acknowledge it, and then work hard to say that I earned it and I deserved it. You know what I mean? So as
Yeah,
much
for
as I
sure.
can, right?
Absolutely. Whoa.
Whoa,
um, yeah, that was a pretty crazy episode.
it was crazy. It was crazy.
Uh, we just watched the season finale of The Boys season 4. And Daniel, what are your initial thoughts on the episode?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was, it's on brand, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it was on brand, and it's funny how, we're talking about how, this mirrors, like art imitates life, life imitates art, you know what I mean? And there's these shows, these episodes were filmed in, I think, in 2023, right?
Yeah, I
And
think last year. Yeah.
yeah, last year, right? And so it's crazy how, I mean, I don't know if it's just predictable how people will act, like the masses or whatever, but it's
Hmm.
it's it's pretty wild. Like it's pretty it's funny. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
funny. It's kind of
It's
dark, but
sad.
it's sad. There we go. That's the word. Sad is the word. Sad is the word for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked the show. I was surprised. I mean, I guess not really that surprised, when I think about it. But remember, we were saying we had faith in Ryan, but
Yeah.
Ryan ended up not being it. You know
Oh,
what I mean? He
yeah,
wasn't it.
man.
So
That that was a little disappointing in that
mhm.
whole scene was kind of my major disappointment with this episode was how they handled that, because I thought they were going to go in a more interesting direction with his character, in that, not because I just want someone to be Superman in this show or anything, but I was hoping Ryan would be a little, and maybe he will be in the next season. They kind of leave it a little open-ended at the end. But what they do with him, killing that CIA official and everything. Um, I don't know. How did you feel about that? Because I was a little disappointed by that.
That no, it's funny because that was my least favorite part of the episode, was that.
Yeah,
So it's funny that you bring that up, because that was literally my least favorite part, and it kind of trickles down into everything else that happens afterwards. Um,
yeah,
but because then that's what causes Butcher to kill Newman, right? And then after he
yeah,
kills Newman, then Singer gets exposed, and then then they have martial law, and then the
yeah.
episode ends the way it ends. So I don't know how else they were gonna do that without Butcher killing Newman, and then what else was gonna get Butcher to kill Newman.
Yeah, get
Um,
him to that point where he
right,
realizes he has to take all the soups out, right? It would be
right, right,
Ryan, right?
right, right. Um,
Yeah,
but
I get
but
that.
but I didn't like how they got there, because it,
Yeah.
it didn't make it didn't make sense to me that,
Mhm.
like, what was he not listening to what the lady said? The lady told him, like, your mom was
I know. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
were you not listening? Like, I don't know. It didn't make sense to me, like how he's like, hey, I won't kill my dad who did all these horrible things, and then immediately
Who
kills
I
her.
just saw was like going to do something to me in the previous
Yeah,
scene.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
So that's where I was like, I don't know. It just
it was
seemed kind
dumb.
of forced a little bit to me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I was disappointed, I think mainly because Ryan so far in the season was pitched as being like a free thinker, someone who stood up for, I mean, he's a kid, of course, but
Mhm.
he was standing up for what he thought was right. I mean, that moment where he's talking into the TV to the audience, I thought that was the moment where he's like, I'm starting to think for myself. When he walks away from Homelander, that's when he's like really, stepping up and everything. And then in this moment, um, I don't know. He just maybe hearing that was shocking for him, but
Mm.
I don't know. I didn't think it was handled very well. His reaction, I didn't think it was written the best in that moment, unfortunately.
No, exactly. Like it didn't like I
Didn't line
understand
up.
how like we were saying like we had to get Butcher to do this, and then that is what
Yeah,
kind of like made Sage's plan all fall into place. I totally get that. I totally get that. I don't understand like it just didn't make sense to me. Like it can't be both, right? It can't be you're
yeah,
self-righteous, but then you just heard everything that Homelander did, and then
yeah.
here you are killing this unarmed lady who simply just told you what happened. She didn't do any of these things. She didn't do what Homelander did to your mom. She didn't annihilate an entire people of a plane full of people. He didn't annihilate all these other people. And and he's so like, how could you make me feel this way towards my dad and because of this?
Yeah,
So now I'm gonna kill you like that. I don't know. It just didn't it didn't make sense to me.
yeah. And also
So
the way she was acting, like blocking the door and
yeah,
everything, going all
yeah,
extra and stuff. I was like,
yeah.
what are this is not
The
going
way.
to, yeah, why
Mm,
would you ever think this is going to bring him to your cause?
yeah,
Like approaching it this way.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
yeah. It is ridiculous, and that was my least favorite part of the episode. I thought it was pretty good before
Yeah,
that, and after not the shock value, but like afterwards, like okay, I get it. We had to get to martial law, so that Butcher ends up wanting to end all the soups, like you were saying.
yeah,
I get all that. I get all that, but
yeah,
I don't know that one part right there where I was like, wait, this doesn't. I was like, wait, I don't. I'm trying to follow here, but like it doesn't. That
yeah.
when your brain is just it just doesn't. It's like it
Does
just
not
didn't fit.
compute.
It
Yeah,
didn't fit. It wasn't fluid, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, totally. That story element of getting Butcher to that place of his role at the end of the boys comic book where he is like the straight up antagonist.
Mm,
Which I dug that they did it in a different way. But that
mm,
came at the cost, in my opinion, of Ryan's character in this season, like
yeah.
everything that was built up by making everybody in that scene really dumb. I was like, what? Now I'm hoping in season 5, it's like they make it so that Ryan is just on his own now because he didn't go back to Homelander at the end of the episode. So
He did
I'm
it.
really,
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that he's just finding his own way.
Mhm.
But we just talked about a scene we didn't really like, a scene that I really liked, and then I want to hear what you really liked. Um, was that scene which I thought was really tense with Newman being outed as a soup on
Oh
the on
yeah.
the news and everything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so good. So
Yeah,
freaking good, dude.
that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
I liked it too. I thought it was tense and I didn't expect it. I didn't expect her to be put on blast like that.
Yeah.
So, that was pretty good. And again, it's good because of the tension that we feel like as a viewer,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and so yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I felt the opposite of that tension. I was like my brain was trying to figure out like why is all this happening right now? Really? Like this is your reaction, Ryan, and this is how you're approaching this. But that scene with Newman, it did create that tension within me where I was like, oh, what? And like what's gonna happen now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um
I
so
love that.
I dug that too. That was put together well.
Yeah. Well, what did you feel about the resolution in this episode with Newman? Because they're building her up kind of as either she's going to go up against Homelander or they're going to work together, and then you see what happens with her and Butcher at the end. So what were your thoughts when you saw that? Because I'm a little split, but what did you think?
I didn't like it because I I felt like they were all pretty like, even though she was not an antagonist, and she obviously wanted her own power, but I felt that she was in a place where, I mean, if the boys were willing to believe her, I don't know why Butcher would go straight to killing her. Like I
Yeah.
even if Ryan went bad, right? Even if Ryan went bad, I don't understand why he just went in and just
Just
murked
went
her.
straight into
Yeah, just
assassination, dude.
like no talking, nothing. And she's
Yeah.
there like surrendering, basically, essentially surrendering. She would be much more of
Yeah.
an asset to Butcher,
Yeah.
even Butcher and his cause. I don't know why. I don't know. Like Butcher seemed kind of dumb in that situation too. You know what I mean? Like why?
Yeah.
I
Do you
don't get
think he
it.
was taken over by this virus, or like the, because it's very akin, his power is very akin to a symbiote. I mean, Kessler is kind of that figure, in his head. They establish that Kessler is, just a figment of his imagination, but it acts as the way that the symbiote works for like Peter Parker, as another personality that grants him the power. Do you think that's kind of what was going on there? Because I
Yeah,
was thinking the same thing. Like, this is like, first of all, this is a little anticlimactic,
yeah,
and
yeah,
also
yeah.
why would he do it unless it was just straight up Kessler?
Right, right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And to me, again, I didn't hate the episode. I didn't hate the show. It was
Yeah.
whatever. But like you said, it was kind of like at the end there, it just kind of felt like lazy a little bit. Like I felt like the writers were writing like they knew the end point, and
Yeah.
then they just had to kind of like rush to get there, like
Hmm.
rush, it wasn't, not that it wasn't. See, that's what's upsetting. Everything was so developed. Everything was developed in a certain way. It's just kind of like they had to make a jump into a different direction, and then that there's a few of those scenes, like you said, what we shouldn't be doing that, right? Like me and you shouldn't be
Yeah.
going like, oh well, I guess Kessler did
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right? Like you know what I mean? Like we shouldn't be doing that. Like the show, the actions should just make sense. Not that they're
Yeah.
always going to
Ryan's
make
on his
sense.
own, finding himself, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It just feels like me and you right now are doing the reaching for the show. You know what I mean? To make it
Yeah.
fit, but it just didn't. It didn't make sense. And I guess your explanation makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. And
But I'm
maybe
just
like you said,
guessing.
yeah, and you're like you're saying, maybe in season 5, maybe they do make it make more sense, and they go with that,
Hmm.
with what you're saying, and I get that. I would buy it. It just feels a little lazy, like
Yeah.
um like, because again, even if Butcher's goal is to kill Homelander, why would you give him the country by killing Newman? Like, why? I don't understand. Like,
Right. Right.
and especially
Now it's just
Butcher.
harder for everybody.
Now
It's
it's just
harder
harder.
for, yeah.
Yeah, now it's just
Yeah.
harder. You just
It's
made it
even
harder for
if
yourself.
even yeah, exactly. Even if he has those powers, and I'm not 100% convinced that Newman is dead. I'm
Mm,
not really sure. I mean, I know we see her ripped apart and everything, but I feel like I see that happen to everybody with superpowers in the show, and they come back.
yeah, right, right.
So I'm gonna keep, I don't know. I don't know whether to take it at it for face value or not. Um, because they really made a point at the beginning of this season even to show that she is near invincible.
Right.
Um, so I don't even know if ripping her apart would do, would like do that. Um,
Yeah, it might not.
but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we have to just wait. This ending very much felt like a part one,
Right,
or a setup to the last season,
right,
which is a little disappointing because I feel that with every season finale before this one, they felt like the end of that chapter.
right.
Like last season, I thought the season finale, where Soldier Boy and Maeve and they all team up against Soldier Boy, like that's a great like end to that chapter. And it
Mhm.
feels really climactic. Where here it's just like, okay, so the big reveal for this, the big oh shit moment is Butcher's now the antagonist. Well, we
Yeah,
kind of saw that coming, and
right.
I don't know. I didn't I liked the episode, but I didn't love it as much as I loved other finales for the show.
Yeah, again, like I was saying, before, this is my least favorite season. Out of
Right,
all the
right.
seasons, this is definitely my least favorite season. And again, that doesn't mean that I hate the season, but it's just my
Mhm.
least favorite. It's my least favorite for sure. And for
Yeah.
reasons like this is what I was saying earlier. This is what I was saying earlier. It just seemed a little like not this lazy like in this episode, but I did have the feeling like, oh man, you guys are just going for like the low hanging fruit, and that's okay. I mean, I'm still gonna watch it. I still like it, but like I don't know. And this episode kind of like proved that to me. Like I felt
Mhm.
like you said, like it wasn't on the nose to the point where you're like, oh my God, this is so on the nose, but it was leaning that way. I wouldn't say ham-fisted, but it was leaning that way. And then this episode had scenes that, yeah, I would label ham-fisted.
Mhm.
They were like pretty forced scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I mean, were there any like of the side plots that hit home for you? Because there's a lot going on in this episode. There's the stuff with Annie and the shapeshifter. There's the president going to the prison and ordering the hit on Newman and everything. There's the political component. Um, what was there anything that wasn't the main story that you really dug?
yeah, Frenchie and Kimiko finally
Oh
kissing.
yeah,
That
her finally
1000%.
speaking.
That was my favorite. I was like, dude, find it, like, dude, come on, man. Like, but I'm
Yeah.
glad it happened. I was happy with that. I like how Starlight got her powers. I just don't understand why did she didn't fight right there. You know, did
Oh,
she just?
like the soups and the guards and everything.
Yeah, I don't understand why she didn't fight if she got her powers back. Was
Hmm.
she just assuming that she would lose, or I
Maybe.
don't know.
I, I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
that was basically she was going up against Magneto, right? Like
Yeah.
the Magneto adjacent. But I don't know. I felt like she could have put up a better fight
Hmm.
there. But especially for someone that she loves, like didn't they just get engaged or like
Well,
at least the cat's out of the bag, you know?
yeah. They might as well be engaged now.
Right, right. And so I don't know. I mean, I guess Huey kind of nods to her and was like, "You just get away, save yourself," kind of thing. So I'm gonna go with that, like you said. Like, okay, I'm just assuming that she thought, okay, I'm gonna lose this fight, so I'm just gonna get away to fight another day. But
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like she could have beat that kid. I don't know. I was that the only soup there when it was just the Magneto guy, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was just her and a bunch of soldiers, Vought
Mm,
people, or and
yeah.
not even. I think it was the military actually. It wasn't even
Right. Right.
just Vought. But I think they. I actually glad you brought that up because that last moment where they're playing Nirvana and everything, and you're
Mhm.
seeing everyone get taken down and all that, and the kids from Gen V show up and all that. Um,
Right.
that was the most exciting for me, the most exciting part of the episode where you're seeing the ground laid work, the late. How do you say that? They're laying the groundwork
Yeah.
for season 5. I think I that it I hope it's a really killer season, like The Great
Yeah.
Escape or something.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's martial law now, and obviously, well, I don't know about obviously, but I feel like in season 5 they're going to reveal to the public that Homelander was the killer. He's the killer, you know. Like I think
Yeah,
they're gonna have to tell the public, you know.
yeah.
Um, so when they do that, you know, like, are we gonna get the final like superhero battles, like these, you know, how's that gonna go down? How's it all gonna go down? I don't know. I'm excited for season five. I mean, like you said, like they laid the groundwork. You know, they kind of stumbled into the finish line a little bit for this season. They
Mhm.
kind of like they stumbled into it, but I'm excited for the next race, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Season five, I'm hoping season five, since it is the last season of the show, is just really like top tier, really good. With what you're talking about, with like
Mm.
these revelations coming to the public now, and now
Yeah,
it's Hail Mary time, and
yeah.
bringing back that footage from about the plane, of the him leaving those people to die and everything.
Hmm.
um, I'm really hoping that is incorporated so that we can get just that chaotic end to the show, because it would just be great. And I hope they bring back some of the characters from Gen V, and because they're in custody. I remember that at the end of the show, some of the main characters are in custody, and maybe they meet up with Huey and Kimiko. I mean, that would A Train, dude. I hope he comes back.
Yeah, A Train should come back. A Train's out there too. That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think I'm excited for season five. I think, like you said, I think, you know, the big reveals are the reveals that happened here. You know, I think at the end here they were a little forced, but it does set up, like you said, the big reveals for the next season. And you know, I'm excited. I'm excited. I think I think we're gonna have to have battles, right? Superhero battles for the season five. That's
yeah,
gonna need to take place. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's yeah. Well, especially if they have like martial law, and they're building an army. The government is building an army of soups to take over it all. Like, do you remember that? I think it was in the first episode where they're looking at that list of soups, for recruits for the seven, and they come up
Yeah,
with Sister Sage, and they're showing all these different ones. That's got to be setting them up for the next season. When you
yeah,
need an army of soups and everything, because some of the actors there, in that little list, I recognize, like they're actors. They're not just people in costumes. So
right, right,
I-
right,
I'm
right, right.
I'm
Of
I'm
course.
really hoping they incorporate that.
Yeah, me too. I think they will. I don't really think they have any other place to go, especially because they, you know, they took us to martial law with this. They you know, they kind of threw Ryan to the wind, you know,
Hmm.
and yeah, there's a lot of open ends. Like you said, this one didn't really feel like the chapter ended, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
you know, there's gonna be some big stuff that kind of needs to happen for season five, you know. So we'll see, we'll see.
yeah.
But
Well,
I am excited. I just, you
yeah,
know,
me too.
like I said, I do think they stumbled into the finish line. I do think
Hmm.
so. But even that being said, that doesn't take my excitement away for season five. I'm still gonna be down to watch it, and yeah, and I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Oh well, dude, especially with the return of Soldier Boy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you think
Let's
he's going to
go.
be incorporated?
Yeah, let's do it. I'd be down. I'm down.
Yeah.
I love Eccles, dude. I'm down, dude. I'm down. I thought I wanted him to be Batman. Shit, you know.
I know. I know. I'd be down with that. He voices Batman in these recent animated films.
He does, yeah, and he does a great job. He's fantastic. He's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. So
Yeah.
I'd be down to see
I
him in
love
the
it too.
suit. And I think he can pull it off. He can pull off a Bruce Wayne. He can pull off a Batman, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you need a Batman who's like that age, since Damian's up in there. So it makes sense that they would. Come on, do it.
Yeah, and as CW as it was, I have to confess I am a pretty big Supernatural fan. I did watch
Oh
every
yeah.
episode. Yeah, I was a Supernatural fan for sure.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Daniel, we're going to wrap up the discussion about this show, The Boys. Um, Lots of fun. The episode, though not perfect, engaging, and in many ways blew my mind, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
And I'm excited for season 5. I think that's where we're ending it off. We're excited
That's
for how it's gonna end, you know?
that's all we can ask for. Yeah.
Exactly. So Daniel, thanks
Yeah.
so much for joining me.
Yeah.
This was great. I love talking about this, and
Always.
it's gonna be a great podcast.
Let's do it. I'm excited to see it up.
Yeah, where can the people find you?
Well, I'm putting up a channel, Daniel Rumbles. So I'm gonna start making reviews and rankings and all that. So stay tuned for that. It's not up yet, but I'm getting everything kind of set up. But
Okay.
eventually, I'm gonna get my own stuff going. So then maybe I'll have you on there. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
yeah. But I want to have a YouTube channel, Instagram, and all that. So stay tuned for Daniel Rumbles. He's coming soon. So
Well, hopefully the next time you're on, we'll be able to kind of promo that and everything. And
let's go.
I would love to hear more about it and everything.
Of course, of course. Let's do it. I'm down.
All right, guys. What did you think of The Boys? Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Stay safe and goodbye.